Today, we wanted to talk about the future of work. Things are feeling weird. There's like a big pivot that we're all feeling right now, and I wanted to open it up to that first. It's kind of the most ethereal, and then let's get into like brass tacks with technology and stuff like that. We've got Nicole, CEO of Jumpsuit and co-founder of Jump Boards. Nicole, what is the Age of Aquarius? What's going on right now?
Okay, so there's 12 astrological signs, right? So Aries, etc. And the idea is that they each have an age. It's debatable how long an age is. It's somewhere allegedly between 2000 and 2500 years. Okay, so you can be in the age of Pisces and then be transitioning into the age of Aquarius. And you can look back in history and look at Rome and be like, oh, it was in this age. That makes sense why there's this kind of energy and structures built, right? So that's kind of the concept of how ages work. And so we are in a transition from Pisces to Aquarius. Pisces it's a water sign, it's masculine. And so you have certain energies within the era that's like, a lot of technological advancement happened through water. So discovering new lands, colonialism, unfortunately, right? Blood is water. So a lot of medicine, pharmaceutical advancements, etc. The masculine energy of that time also really helped build these systems and structures. So you have government, that and healthcare and education, all these massive systems were erected. And we're important for the age. It's not like a bad thing. It is what it is. And now we're shifting into Aquarius, which is air. So you're going to start seeing a lot of technological advancements, literally going to outer space, lasers, radars, quantum physics, AI, right? And so obviously we're seeing that and feeling that. It's a feminine energy. So we're going to start hearing a lot more conversations about the earth because the earth is mother. So there's a lot of that happening. Even in how, I would propose that I think a lot of the Gen Z bringing up like transgenderism, non-binary into the conversation. There's just that blending that's kind of happening between the masculine and feminine. And then I guess the last thing I would say, that there's so much to explore here, but a key hallmark of Aquarius is shifting from systems and authority. So think of like church and government, right? Systems and authority to the individual. Well, this is who I am. This is what makes me unique. This is my path. This is what lights me up. This is what I believe. So very individualized way of being. There's a collective component too. It's like this desire to fully be authentic and powerful in who I am and steady in that and like heal thyself and know thyself kind of energy. But also this like, but we can do some big things together, collective like consciousness shit, right? You've been working with Jumpsuit for a while, so you know that our tagline forever has been independent together, and I like only recently kind of made that connection myself. I'm like, oh gosh, like even our mission at Jumpsuit really kind of speaks to the turning of the age.
Okay, so one thing that was particularly interesting was just the masculine energy and the feminine energy. I think you think about the Industrial Revolution, that's a very kind of masculine, you're literally like lifting things, you're using your body. And I would say like most of human history is like the strongest survive, and that meant literal muscles. And now in an age of like robots, it's not necessarily the strongest muscles that survive anymore, it's the strongest brains. And that doesn't necessarily mean intellect or IQ anymore because of AI. It means like human stuff, like being able to read other people. And I think.
No, I'm excited about all of that, like healing feminine energy that's coming into the culture because we need it, right? Like, I mean, let's play out the unknown future that everyone's just guessing at, how AI impacts our jobs, like what kind of work even exists. I believe there will always be work to do, but it's stuff we all know it's going to change drastically. And we're seeing this, need to take care of the earth and, have more sustainable living and stuff. So I like that feels like a natural transition to like focus more on the earth and healing, and again going inside yourself and being like, okay, wow, I've been living for the past 40 years with these traumas that I never dealt with, and now I'm aware of how it's impacting my body and my mind, and there's more people talking about it and providing insights on how to like embody this stuff now, how to work with your energy, how to heal yourself, and so many different ways. So I anticipate that's actually where the work and the resources and attention is going to start to follow, right? Like there'll be people like building AI, and then I think there's going to be people being like, no, 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 come on, let's heal together.
One of my favorite psychological models is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When people kind of like reach the top of all of these needs, that's when they're like, oh, what is really important in life? Well, it's like a lot of people arrive at this place of like, it's love and it's giving back and it's, I've been able to like work my way up and now it's time to give back to my community and help other people um, reach like this sense of consciousness and enlightenment as well.
And and it's the idea of being at that point, it's like, how can I be the biggest, most expansive, most authentic version of myself, right? And only in coming to that place, which is enlightenment, I think there's right. Then to your point, then you can freely love your neighbor as thyself. Then you can freely give, generously. You can only actually arrive there, I believe, once you learn to love yourself, because when you realize that you are everything, it changes everything. So we're seeing a massive awakening. Consciousness is expanding rapidly. Depending on your context and your background, it can be pretty earth shattering, right? Like we are deconstructing some things, and it's hard to have a normal job.
Totally. I mean, for me, like, this is where I want to live. Like, I'm like, I want to help other people, like, learn about themselves and to self-actualize and like learn about their own impact on their tribe and how can they give back and like what does being in flow even look like. I think that every human has a flow state that is in this self-actualized zone.
It's still such a privilege to even be having this conversation, right? Like the systems that exist, capitalism. I mean, these are big things that are preventing millions of people from being able to even understand what we're talking about in this conversation.
Exactly. Which is why it kind of feels like a revolution.
Obviously I want to work with the brands that are up here that have the most potential to impact humanity in the world. Give me those all day. It's not a marketing tactic. It's an actual frequency. And so you need vendors and internal employees who are resonating there to even do that level of creative work.
Oh, that's such a great, like that creates a light bulb for me. Like it literally does feel like a frequency where like my last job was like working at a large corporation with the CDC. And it's, I mean, it's pretty important that the CDC gets things right. So I understand multi-layered approval processes. But I mean, this feels reductive, but it just feels like 30 different approval processes and 400 cooks in the kitchen somehow muddle the frequency so that the end product that you know theoretically is right or feels good, but it just doesn't, it feels like an ick, And I'm like, what is that? Millennials are calling it the bullshit meter. Um, but I really like your language. We're touching on things that are really hard to like. We're literally just trying to find words in the English language to kind of like describe something that I think a lot of people are feeling. If you were to describe what's happening, who are the main players and what's the quest that we're on? Who are the villains? And yeah, like what's kind of the outcome afterwards?
Here's what I'll say. I see that there's probably I believe there's millions of key players. There's too many of them, and not too many. There's so many of them that I will never be able to know them, So like I'm very optimistic. There are people trying to solve this problem in so many ways across the planet. I really believe that. And that's what gives me the optimism about the kind of future and where we're heading as a world. Um, I think the problem is we don't know how to find each other and we don't know how to connect and collaborate. So that's one of the big reasons that I even built jaunt boards in the first place. I'm like, if you are an individual who knows something about what's happening and you're making some sort of impact, like get on here so we can start to connect and form teams and like accomplish these jobs together, right? Like who are the people? I want them on jaunt boards. And from there, like I think the future is up in the air. Like I think we can really I think there's still time to save the planet. I think there's still time to figure out how to become closer together politically and and allow for variances in belief systems and lifestyles. Like I think all of that is possible. When you watch the news and you watch certain types of people and energies, it can feel like it'll never happen in that world. World War III is inevitable, and that the apocalyptic eschatology of Christianity is like right at our doorstep. It's really easy. You just have to be aware of what you're giving your energy and attention to, because the future doesn't exist yet. The only thing that exists is the present right now. And so, how do we find each other right now and start working together right now to be able to actually create the future that we collectively need to be manifesting? We can all like move ourselves in that direction and do the work. We have to do the work ourselves individually, but it has to become a collective consciousness or it won't happen. So, what the outcome is, I don't know. We gotta come together and make it happen. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
And I didn't answer the villain question. The villain can't be another human. It can't be. It has to be the belief systems and the trauma and all of the stuff that holds ourselves back from expanding and evolving and loving. We have to go inward and do the work. It just can't be any other way.
Chills. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface. I'm like, with everything we've talked about today, I feel like has is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much to dig into. So like,
Well, I mean, let's do LinkedIn Live on Friday, and let's invite other people into the conversation, and we can start to go deeper, or invite people to share what they're saying that we haven't even explored. But I mean, I'm interested right now in finding like-minded people who can help connect some pieces of what's happening, what they see, and who they know, and I want to collaborate together to solve these bigger problems. So if this is a conversation that's resonating, I think it'd be really cool to just invite people on Friday to talk more.
yes, me too. So if this conversation resonates with you, listener, you know, we want you to be a part of the conversation. You can do that on jaunt boards by sharing your um, unique vision on what you're doing, what you feel like your role is in this future that still is vague, but we're trying to, um, find color for it and find words. Um, we're having this discussion in a Slack channel for everybody, because yeah, I think as you're putting it so well, Nicole, like the villain is not humans. I do think that like all humans have a flow state, and everyone has access to self-actualization and kind of leaning into this next stage in a powerful way. And so, um, just yeah, I think it's a pretty cool mission to kind of unlock people and help them unlock each other.
There's so much here. Yeah, I'm excited to keep exploring it. And we didn't even get to talk about how there allegedly is increased extraterrestrial activity at the turning of ages.
Oh my God, is the cliffhanger for next time?